My family has a little vacation home in Colorado. My parents are avid skiers, which is why they bought it. The house has been the family since before I was born, and at around 40 years old, it definitely shows its age. It's never going to look new, and over the years, my dad has had to do a lot of upkeep. The house is still in our family today, but it's really on its last legs. My dad talks about tearing it down and building a new one, but I usually stay out of those decisions. This story takes place about 15 years ago, when I was 8 and my brother was 11. We were in Colorado during a huge blizzard. The snowfall was insane, and of course, my brother and I had to go out and play in it. One of the best things about going there as kids was the amount of space. The property has a huge clearing, surrounded by woods in every direction, and there's a dead-end road that goes downhill to a few more big properties. It was the perfect setup for hide-and-seek, snowball fights, or any kind of game we wanted. My brother Josh and I bundled up in our snow gear and got ready for our snowball fight game, which had our own custom rules. Basically, we'd each build a fort anywhere we wanted, but we had to tell the other where we were placing it. Then we'd make one giant snowball jewel that the other person had to steal and bring back to their fort. Josh decided to build his fort on the nearest neighboring property. Almost never a car came by, like 9 times out of 10, so we often played on their land too. We'd build small walls to act as defenses and put the big snowball behind them. To get to each other's forts, we could either cut through the woods or take the road up or down. Once Josh ran down the road and disappeared. I was supposed to wait for him to blow the whistle to signal the start of the game. I waited and waited over 5 minutes. By that time, he had already set up his fort, so all he had to do was blow the whistle. Around the 10-minute mark, I realized I probably just couldn't hear the whistle from where I was. That's when I started planning my route. Should I go through the woods or take the road? I decided to take the road because, honestly, going through the woods during a blizzard at 8 years old sounded terrifying. I started trudging through the unplowed snow as flakes whipped into my face. Thanks to all the layers my mom had made me wear, I wasn't cold at all. As I got closer to the driveway of the neighboring property, I peeked through the trees but didn't see Josh anywhere, with the trees bare for winter. It was actually pretty easy to see through the woods. I cut through the property to sneak closer, but Josh was nowhere in sight. I spotted his fort and, after scanning the area to confirm he wasn't around, started approaching it to grab the jewel. Before I could reach it, I heard a woman's voice shout, "Excuse me, are you looking for your brother?" I turned toward the voice and saw an older woman standing at the front door of the neighbor's house. I called back that we were just playing a game, but she said, "Your brother isn't here." I was confused. I started walking toward the front steps, and as I got closer, her face came into focus. To my 8-year-old mind, she looked much older than she probably was. Then I noticed one of the upstairs windows. Someone was peering out. At first, I thought it was Josh. Half their face was hidden by a black beanie, and the bottom part was obscured behind the windowsill. I also noticed another set of footprints leading to the front door. They had to be Josh's. But the woman's smile felt wrong. It was creepy. She waved me inside, telling me to get out of the cold. I froze. My heart dropped. I screamed, "Josh!" but there was no answer. The woman's smile vanished. She clearly hadn't expected that. Then I saw it. The other set of footprints doubled back. If they were Josh's, he'd turned around and headed back toward the woods. Then I heard heavy footsteps coming from inside the house, like someone was coming down the stairs. I started running, and the woman screamed something at me, or maybe at someone else, but I didn't understand what she said. I glanced back at the house, and the face that had been at the upstairs window was gone. I ran off the property and back onto the road, following my own footsteps. Soon, I heard my dad whistling from up the hill. The whistle he always used to call Josh and me home for dinner. By the time I reached our driveway, my dad and Josh were already there. They had been on their way to find me. Before I could even explain what had happened, Josh started telling me the same thing had happened to him. People in the neighbor's house had told him to come inside. I told him my story matched exactly. My dad grabbed some kind of weapon and went down there while we stayed with our mom. He came back after a long while and said the front door was locked and no one answered. We went to another neighbor's house. They knew the owners and called them. Even now, this part still gives me chills. My dad was told the owners weren't there that weekend. No one was supposed to be in the house. The cops were called, and Josh and I had to describe the woman to an officer. According to my dad, the back door had been unlocked, and the house was searched thoroughly, but they found nothing. After that, my parents took any valuable things from the home while we were gone, worried about a possible break-in. And from that day on, we never played on that property again. The memory alone made it too creepy. Thank God we didn't go inside.